It's flying. Like, you're just going to get really obvious, like the first question kind of thing, right? Instead of something like, oh, the bird's pushing back on the air and thrust is occurring. Like, that answer's not going to come out of those kids, y'all. Okay? Just know about it right now. So, when you're phrasing questions, you need to think, am I asking for student examples, things that they could easily come up with? Okay, prior knowledge that they have. Or am I trying to get them to lead me to an answer that I know in my mind? Does that distinction make sense? Again, you've got to be specific. One way that's just really easy, like if it's a simple check for understanding, thumbs up if you understand, thumbs down if you have a don't, thumbs to the side if you have a question, or thumbs down if you have a question. So, sounds stupid, but like every kid can vote, okay? Or, you know, show me one finger if you understand the first direction, show me two if you understand all two of them, show me three if you understand all three directions by yourself. I don't know, there's 1,000 ways to do this, right? Come up with your own inventive way to check for understanding. But remember, checks for understanding have got to be not, like, those are simple checks for understanding. If you're asking kids, do you understand the directions, or do you have a pair of scissors? Okay, like, give me a thumbs up if you have a pencil. That's appropriate. If you've just taught a concept, okay, if you've just taught density, don't ask the kids, did everybody get that? And then every kid's, like, shaking their head at you. That's not a check for understanding, right? That's just you feeling good in that moment. You're like, yes, everyone got it. They all shook their heads. I'm a great teacher. Like, the check for understanding there is several things, right? Who can repeat the directions to me? Can someone tell me the first step? Can someone tell me the second step? Who can explain this in their own words? Who can give me an example of this? Who can explain this definition using their own vocabulary? Who can use this vocabulary word in a different sentence, right? All of these kind of questions are checks for understanding. But again, they're limited because you're only asking specific kids, right? But if you use 5 or 6 of them, you can get a general drift of how the class is, if they're really spot on or if they're not. The further checks for understanding stuff, exit slips, the concept maps, the written individual work you get, right? But please don't ask the kids if they get it and just accept a head shake, because that means nothing, basically. And it sort of serves the purpose for the kids of embarrassing them, because if they feel like everyone is shaking their head yes, then it's embarrassing if they didn't get it, right? Because they're like, oh, everyone's shaking yes, I should shake yes too. I don't know what's going on and they do, so I'm stupid, right? It's really not an empowering feeling. So just think, and I know it's going to happen again, and then you're going to feel bad and you're going to think that I hate you, and that's not true, but just be conscious of that little thing in your mind.